Next thing to do is, I guess, to focus on output. As I promised, there's going to be stuff about UI, and I'm willing to try different UI frameworks to actually make this work. But for now, as a primitive starter, I actually want to implement a console UI for my game. Which means that I want my game of life implementation to somehow print stuff to sysout whenever render is invoked. The problem from my point of view with the sysout solution is that it's actually a bit ugly to intercept sysout and tests to verify the game output. So what I want to do instead is give this game of life implementation a reference to, I think sysout is a print stream or something, so that the render method can actually print its output to that print stream, and I can, for testing, hand in an arbitrary print stream that I'm going to create in the test and whose contents I can check afterwards. Whereas in the real game, then I can just hand in the real sysout print stream in order for the game output to appear on the console. So let's start writing some tests for that. A new test, public void prints initial game state to console. In the end, I want to assert that the output I'm going to have equals some string, and then that this string I'm going to choose a very small size for my universe, looks something like this. So I have, let's say, 3 times 3 fields in my universe. So the output should be, question is, how do I format that nicely? This is the output. And I want to have this in a way, oh, that's not nice at all. So let's do it this way around. It's not perfect. Maybe I have a better idea from here on. So let's just say this is O, O, O. This is 3 times, right? /n. And I have this exactly 3 times. And then I have another of these final rows like this. And now probably autoformat is going to destroy my everything. It's not as bad as I feared, but it's not exactly pretty. Maybe I have some better idea of how to check that game output. But my assertion is going to look something like this. Then, of course, I have to invoke on my unit under test the render method. My unit under test is going to be my test void implementation, or let's say my game of life, new game of life, with some universe, and the universe is going to be a mock universe, yep, which says whenever universe.getState is invoked, then you should return an array of cell states, which is just 3 times 3. like that. Why doesn't that compile? Because I have not imported cell state. And now I'm actually unsure about the semantics of Java enums, because as I remember, cell state is an enum. Question is, can an enum be null? In C# it cannot. Is that a valid expression? Yes, it is a valid expression, which means that this universe, the state, or this cell matrix, cell state matrix state is going to be all null, which is not what I want, because I want it to be dead in this case, I guess. So I'm going to pull that out into cells array, and I'm going to have to somehow initialize that one. There was some tricky thing about array initializers. If I remember correctly, I can in Java write something like this: cell state dead, cell state dead, cell state dead, right? I can. So to make this a little nicer to read, I'm going to statically import the cell state class. Say import static cell state, come on. Import static, how's it called? Game of life universe cell state, right? Like this. Or not? How's it called? I just saw it, didn't I? It's no longer universe, but it's... Oh, not even that, it's cell, right? It's in cell, I just saw it. Yep. So it's game of life, no, damn it. Game of life cell state, which I'm going to use by just removing these qualifiers. So it's a little nicer to read. And then of course I want to insert 2 more rows here. So now we have a universe. We initialize that universe. We can actually inline that. We can inline that because I'm not going to need it at the second place. Okay, I have a universe. I mock the universe state, or stop the universe state to be all dead cells. And I say, okay, game of life, if you take that universe and I ask you to render, I somehow expect the output to be a representation of these 9 dead cells. What I do need for that, in addition, is my print stream. Or some kind of stream whose content I can then verify as the output. So okay, let's see. Do I remember correctly that system out is a print stream? Yes, I do remember correctly. So I want the universe to actually take a print stream, which I can then verify. So we have a print stream here, which I'm going to call sysout, which is a new print stream. I can create a print stream from a file, from an output stream, from a file name, and some stuff like that. I actually wanted to take a new, I think it's called byte array output stream, right? Yes, that's what I want to use here, because if I actually put that one to a local variable, let's call it, yeah, let's call it out for now. I can then in the end create a string from this byte array, I think, and I'm going to call this one output. Nicely done. And if I now import assert equals, then my test actually compiles. Problem is, for once this test is pretty ugly, I think. And it's incomplete yet because the game of life does not know my sysout stream yet, so I'm going to have to pass it in, which means I'm going to have to change the constructor by adding a new print stream. Yes, let's do it print stream, which I call the output for now. Okay, now I have a problem here again because I did not save. Now I have a problem in the two earlier tests because they do not take a print stream, and I'm going to replace the print stream here by now. This even makes, in my point of view, this test look more ugly because there's no more null values being handed in here, and I really don't like the state of things as they are, which means as soon as this test is running, I'm going to have to do some cleanup work. For now, let's actually look what the test is doing. So comparison failure expected this more or less nice ASCII art output, but was actually nothing, which makes sense because I'm currently not printing anything to the output stream. So it makes totally sense that there is nothing in the output stream in the end. And for now I'm going to pick the simplest possible solution to this problem, which is storing the output print stream to a new field, and on invocation of render just print out the exact stream. It's print, right? Print line. The exact stream of things that I have here. Actually, without the print line, otherwise I will have more new lines than I wanted. And this should make my test pass. Yes, it does. And since I promised to commit more frequently, I'm going to do that right now. Commit saying the game can now output or render a constant state. Commit.